right, people. We are gonna continue. Okay? This segment is literally the separation of righteousness apart from wickedness. Okay? The sheep apart from the goats. Good apart from evil. Okay? The wheat apart from the tares. It's not a mix. It's not a blend. I don't care what mortal men want to say. I don't care about the vain opinions of mortal men who have yet to humble themselves to the reproof via the Spirit of truth. You can take it or leave it. Your choice is irrelevant to those of us who have done it. Okay? That's what people need to understand. All right? That has nothing to do with arrogance. Because I do not have a monopoly on the Holy Spirit. I do not have a monopoly on the Spirit of truth. I don't have a monopoly on the ever presence of benevolence. I don't have a monopoly on any of the righteous fruits of the Spirit. I don't got a monopoly on it. All I've done was humble myself like a little child and accepted the reproof via the Spirit of truth, and I've elevated within the Spirit and in truth with clarity and understanding that's been granted unto me. So if you people want to continuously reject that which I've been given to freely give unto you, that's your choice. That's your option. You chose your option. You can because you got an option. You can accept what I'm instructed to speak unto you, and you can be obedient, all right, and cleave, or you can reject. You can dismiss. You can ignore and go your own way. That's your option. That's your choice. But that choice, you're going to regret. You're going to regret your choice to dismiss us. You're going to regret your choice to ignore us. You're going to regret your choice to not take heed unto us. You're going to regret your choice to not cleave unto us. Okay? This has everything to do with the meek, humble, broken-hearted, contrite spirit, the vessels of mercy, the tender-hearted vessels of mercy. In this society, we are treated horribly. Everything is blamed on us. Like we're the problem because we're not evil. We don't have selfish heart conditions. We don't have a selfish mentality. Therefore, we don't have a heart after obtaining money for our own self-preservation, to save ourselves from poverty. No, we were seeking the spiritual clarity and understanding to why this was happening. Why do you keep casting off the why this was allowed? Why are you so complacent with the here and now? And you keep rejecting understanding. You don't want to get to the root of the problem. Therefore, you keep making us the problem. Yet, the world is going to hell in a handbasket. And we have been continuously in misery, long suffering. You're blaming those who are suffering. You're blaming those who are being oppressed. You're blaming those who don't have any physical might in our hands to overturn our oppression. While you continuously uphold a wicked ass system. It starts with the first people that he had chosen. I said that for a reason. The first people that he had chosen. Okay, because many of my people, they seriously want to make this all about our bloodline. All right? Never mind the fact that many of our people continue to go wayward. Many of our people refuse to keep his eternal law of love. We kept going in captivity time and time and time and time again, repeatedly, for our iniquity. Our God did not put us in captivity. We chose to put ourselves in captivity because we chose to go outside of his protection, breaking his pure covenant, being disobedient. Therefore, he did not deliver us from the consequences of our actions, contrary to the eternal law of divine love. Okay? So we were allotted to go into this final captivity, overtaken by all nations, overran and trodden down by all nations. Now we're all blended. We're blended into all the nations, even by blood, by seed. There is some of us, some of our blood throughout the other nations. The Yahudim has now been scattered, even in the package that looks like another nation. Okay? Yes, it's hella rare. All right, considering the vast majority of these nations have been against the Yahudim. But you gotta look deeper. Okay? Look at the outcasted ones from their family. Their whole entire family literally hates them, blames them, makes them the problem. They're not rich and prosperous. They've been scorned their whole life. They've been going through hell their whole life. They've been going through the same curses that we've been going through their whole life. We've been scattered. Okay? The brokenhearted, the tenderhearted is throughout all nations. Though it is very rare to find it in a package of another nation. Because we, the Yahudim as a whole, the vast majority of us, at one point in time, all you got to do is look back at the footage, even in the 70s, all right, 80s. We've been a loving people, all right. It's been over a period of time to where this system has caused many of our people to become hardened within their heart condition and have a seared conscience unto our God. Okay? The system helped to create the menace to society. All right? This system has created the menace of society. All right? Our people as a whole is the most loving, compassionate, forgiving, kind hearted, literally the most merciful nation of people upon the face of this earth. We are the people of compassion. We are the people who have always demonstrated long suffering without taking matters into our own hands. And literally, well, actually, we have, if you look at all the Indian wars and stuff like that, there was always a portion of our people who did take matters into their own hands. Okay? But I'm talking about the remnant. Okay? There was part of the remnant that finally, tried to defend themselves. All right? I'm not talking about the 2/3 that literally made a covenant with the worst of the heathen, so they don't have to suffer. All right, you gotta understand there's different levels to this. All right, there's different levels to it, people. Okay, so the remnant, the Akis that have this knowledge, all right, and they're bringing out this knowledge by way of the Spirit. All right, there a lot of them are still hardened within their heart condition. All right, so I'm here to bring the higher clarity and understanding so that they understand what's required of us to actually successfully and to most effectively be his battle axe, okay? Be the battle axe of the God whom we say we serve, okay? Now, my brethren told me the other day that we don't serve the same God, all right? But yet they professing the God that created the heavens and earth, okay? So that's my God, all right? They're professing the God that created our spirit, all right? The God that, created our soul. The God that gave the breath of life. Just because they want to believe that that particular God is both good and evil, it does not make them correct. It does not make them right. All right? And I'm here to prove that their concept, their mentality, and their heart condition has been corrupted by this system. Okay? And they have to repent for their hardened heart condition. All right? They have to have a renewing of their mind. Okay? They have to be transformed by the renewing of their mind. Okay? Because perception is not the real reality. Yeah, you have the right to perceive however you want to perceive. But it doesn't mean that your perception is the real reality. All right? It's only what you choose to believe. And mortal belief has no value outside of this illusion that was established by the worst of the heathen. Okay? Now, I'm here to reprove not only the world, all right, the nations. I'm not here just to reprove the nations. Clearly, I'm also here to reprove my brethren, all right? And I don't do it in arrogance, okay? I do it humbly, okay? I have to be obedient to what's been inscribed upon my spirit, people, all right? Warnings from Israel's past. All right. Man, I got so many tabs up here already, but I know we're probably gonna have to get in this. um, I do not want you to be unaware, brothers, that our forefathers were all under the cloud. Okay, like our forefathers were in ignorance. Okay, they were in a cloud of ignorance, and that they all passed through the sea. Okay, we were tossed aside like the waters in the sea. They were all baptized into Moses in the cloud and in the sea. All right, and I'm gonna get way deeper, people, because we're gonna get into the book of remembrance. All right, they all ate the same spiritual food. All right, so on another sense, okay, because understand, our people were under a cloud of ignorance. Nevertheless, they knew the truth because Moses taught them the truth. Okay? And we went through many things, all right? But we were being shielded as well by the Father. All right, we went through the freaking Red Sea, parted, and all of these things. We seen these things, yet our people remained in ignorance. Like I said, we gonna get deeper. All right, and we got deeper before in the Nazarene Acts of the Apostles. I broke this down many of times. All right, so I'm not trying to confuse anybody. You need to read between the lines. You need to read between just the physical written words here, in black and white. Okay. They all ate the same spiritual food, all right, and drank the same spiritual drink. For they drank from the spiritual rock that accompanied them, and that rock was the Messiah, all right? Nevertheless, the eternal Father Mother was not pleased with most of them, for they were struck down in the wilderness. All right? Now, the stumbling blocks that they could not overcome in the wilderness was what they had learned while they were captive in Egypt. And that's burnt offerings and sacrificing of the innocent and the eating of the flesh and blood thereof. Before our people went into Egypt, we never ate flesh and blood. We never ate animals. All right? Our people were not barbarians. Our people did not eat like heathens. All right? The Egyptians were doing it. All right? And they taught it unto our people. When that wicked Pharaoh rose up against our people while we had been sojourning there. Okay? When we went into captivity, all right, that's when we began to eat flesh. That's when we began to be taught about animal sacrifices. All right? And then when Moses came to deliver our people from that bondage of slavery, all right, they wanted to take with them the animal sacrifices. They wanted to take with them, with their freedom from captivity, from slavery, they wanted to continue in the traditions of eating animals. All right? They didn't want to let that go. All right? Our people kept holding on to that transgression. All right? That is the stumbling block of our people. All right? That's the stumbling block. This is what caused them all to die off in the wilderness, except for Jacob and was it Caleb? Okay, 2 adults and the rest were children. All right? All the rest of our people did not make it. The rest of the adults didn't make it because they refused to come back, they refused the pure covenant. All right? Now, in the book of remembrance, I don't know when he's going to have me get into it because it's not right now. All right, I already have all these tabs up, okay? In the book of remembrance, well, I'll just bring it up later, okay? But we're gonna get into the fact that there was always a remnant within the remnant that chose to be obedient. There was always the small portion that had the correct mentality and heart condition concerning Anaki said, okay, or eternal benevolence, or whatever name you want to call the great spirit, okay, infinite consciousness, all right, the eternal father mother, okay. um there was always, a very small portion that really sought to serve that power source, okay. These days people act like we don't exist, okay, because the vast majority of people are complacent with just having what they need to sustain their fleshly body, all right. um I guess they figure they'll work out their salvation with fear and trembling. This is what my brethren say. This is what my Aki say. Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Well, I don't work out my salvation with fear and trembling, but I do work out my salvation with reverence and respect to that eternal law of divine love and all things good. I am reverent of that eternal law of reaping the things that we are sowing. Okay, so because of that, I ain't got nothing to fear because I'm keeping his law. All right, I ain't breaking his law. So why would I be in fear? Why would I be trembling? Only the wicked need fear. Only the wicked tremble. All right, because they know they're in outright disobedience to that eternal law of divine love. Okay. There was always a very small portion that had their heart in the right place, okay? Their mentality in the right place. These days, people want to act like we don't exist, as I stated, all right? These things took place as examples to keep us from craving evil things as they did. All right? Our people, majority, continuously craved these evil things. What were these evil things that our people were craving? Let's see. All right, we're going to go to 1 Corinthians 10:6. All right? Let's see what they were craving. These cross references. All right. Meanwhile, the rabble among them had a strong craving for other food. Other food. All right. And again, the Israelites wept and said, "Who will feed us meat?" Many of these Akis, they're like, it's okay for us to eat meat. See? It's the same thing. Who will feed us meat? They want to follow the God that they say commanded sacrifice. And we going to deal with that. We going to deal with all of it. Okay? We going to deal with that. We going to deal with it all. All right? We remember the fish we ate freely in Egypt, along with the cucumbers, melons, leeks, onions, and garlic. See, they want their flesh and blood along with what our God provides to us. Our God provides the cucumbers, the melons, the leeks, the onions, the garlic, all that which grows from the earth with no bloodshed, no pain, no agony, no misery, no suffering to other beings. But they don't want just that. No, our wicked forefathers continuously craved the flesh meat of the innocent animals. Okay? Let's continue. But now our appetite is gone. See, this is these wicked brews, okay? Majority, 2/3, all right? And even you know, my Akis, all right, they thumb their nose up at the true diet. We were never given dead bodies to eat as a food source. Our God, the true and living God, did not create animals to die, to be our food. He said, "Thou shalt not kill." Okay? He said, "Do not spill blood in the land which you are on." Now, even when you strangle an animal to death, even though it reads in the scriptures, don't even strangle an animal, okay? No matter how you kill that animal, at some point in time, you gonna have to spill its blood in order to chop up its body and eat it. Okay? Stop the ignorance. You are not having compassion on that innocent life that the Father created. He did not give you the authority to take away their breath of life. You did not give them the breath of life. Therefore, you do not have the authority to take away their breath of life for your own selfish pleasure, for your own gut, to please your carnal flesh. You're not caring about the animal that you want to continuously eat. You don't care about their misery. You're not caring about their suffering. Therefore, you have a hardened heart condition. You are searing your conscience. Therefore, you are not worshiping and or following. You're not being obedient, and you are not trusting in the true and living God who created our spirit. Okay? You are not trusting in the one who is the God of the heavens and earth. Okay? No, you're trusting in the one who set himself up in authority and who offered you them dead bodies. Okay? It was the adversary that offered you death to eat as a food source. Alright? You are what you eat, goddammit. You want to eat death? You are going to die. Alright? We are living beings. We were given living food for living beings. We were not given a death diet. Okay? But you want to complain and say your appetite is gone because you can't eat dead bodies. You want to say there's nothing to eat but this manna. And in this context, they meant that which grows from the earth. They also want to indulge in sexual immorality. Alright? With the daughters of Moab. Alright? They love their sacrificing unto these foreign blood gods. Alright? And the people ate and bowed down to these gods. You need to understand that your belly has become a god. You are pleasing the God of your belly when you eat the dead bodies of innocent animals that suffered, that lost their life for your selfish pleasure. Okay? So, a lot of the Israelites joined in worshiping Baal of Peor. And they say the anger of the Lord burned against them. But no, the anger of their own wickedness began to burn against them. They began to be burned by their own transgressions. Alright? And our God did not deliver us. Why is it so hard to view it from that perspective? Why do you keep wanting to view it from this erroneous perspective that our God all of a sudden turns evil? Because we choose to do evil, now all of a sudden our God becomes evil. That's asinine, okay? And I'm sick of the stupidity. All right. I'm sick of the ignorance. All right. And I don't say this to insult my brethren. All right. I'm not insulting my brethren. Nevertheless, I'm tired of this superficial bull crap. All right. Y'all need to stop deflecting away from this core truth. All right. You need to get this. Our God don't become evil because we choose to do evil. All right. Not delivering us from the consequences of our sin, of our transgression, is not evil, people. All right. I don't know why my brethren want to view that as evil. I guess because that they're viewing it literally like they did not deserve that which our Father allowed upon us. Okay. But they don't want to look at it from His point of view. They're only looking at it from their point of view. All right? And I was once there. That's why I had to humble myself. All right? Yeah, the Father set me down real quick. All right? Cuz my heart was hardening a little bit as I was learning about all of these things that these wicked people did to us. Okay, but as soon as my heart began to harden and get a little callous, and I began to wish death and destruction upon these people, before I could even form the whole thought, He sat my ass down real quick, and He was like, "Listen here. Look and see, this is exactly what happened. Look how many times I raised up my prophets. Look how many times I warned your stiff-necked forefathers. Look how long I have been long-suffering and enduring their wickedness." Like, our God had been long-suffering our wickedness for a very long time. Okay? Our God was very patient with us. All right? And so it now that I understand that I had to accept why He allowed this. Okay, my brethren have yet to accept why our God allowed it. Okay, they craved intensely. Psalms 106:14 through 15. They craved intensely in the wilderness. All right, and tested God in the desert. All right, so when it say that they tested God, that means they continuously groaned and moaned for that which they were craving, such as animals' flesh. All right, moaning, speaking against the true and living God, even though they seen the greatness of our God, they seen the goodness of our God, they wanted to continuously hold on to the evil. Okay, they wanted to hold on to the evil while they're protected by a good God. All right, so He granted their request. All right, he allowed them their quail. Okay, He allowed them their flesh. All right, He allowed that flock of quail to come. All right, He did not send a wasting disease, but He didn't deliver them from it neither. Okay, they got a wasting disease. Who knows? Maybe they didn't cook it. Maybe they were like vampires and was literally just grabbing them, eating them raw. Who freaking knows at this point? Okay, none of us was there, but they got a wasting disease and they all died there, and they called that place the place of them who lusted after flesh. Okay, the place of those who lusted after flesh. All right, the place of those who lusted after flesh. What the hell? This is even in the book of Enoch. "And the children of men have lusted after flesh and blood, as those also do who die and perish." All right. Here it is right here. Numbers 11:34. That place was called Kibroth Hatava. All right. uh the graves of sensual desires. All right, when you are eating your carcasses, all right, that's a sensual desire. All right, you love the taste of the seared fat of the animal that you burnt on an altar when you do your barbecues. Okay, all of these things, when you sit, when you frying your chicken legs and all of these things. Okay, so anyway, this is where they buried the people who lusted, whose physical appetite caused them to die. Okay? You brutes are still partaking of the same iniquity. Alright? And as the children of men have lusted after flesh and blood. Alright? I guess it's here in chapter, what's that, 15? Alright? Yeah, in section 1, chapter 15, I guess. Alright. Just wanted to give a quick overview. Alright. It's not over there in a desert. Alright. That they keep pointing you over there. That's a lie. That's a falsehood. It ain't over there. Alright. No. When they say he is in the desert, do not go. Alright. The grave of craving. Okay? It translates as the graves of craving. You're craving the suffering of the animal so that you can enjoy their dead body. Okay? That's evil. Alright? That is not righteous. Alright? I don't give a damn what the hell you want to believe. I don't give a damn what the hell you want to think. Okay? Why you think there's all kinds of heinous diseases upon the earth today? It's because of the diet. Okay? You're eating dead carcasses. Alright? You are what you eat. And there in the desert, the whole congregation, alright, practically all of them were grumbling against Moses, not Aaron. Alright, because Aaron was wicked. And we're going to get into that in a book of remembrance. Alright, I want to show you that Aaron was wicked. Alright, Aaron and his sons, alright, those who set themselves up in authority, alright, they are the ones that created the Levitical priesthood. The Levitical priesthood did not come from the true and living God. All of you brews that keep reversing Leviticus. Okay, you keep running to Leviticus. Like Leviticus is your God. Leviathan. Okay? The dragon. Alright? The serpent. Okay? If only we had died by the Lord's hand in the land of Egypt, they said. There we sat by pots of meat and ate our fill of bread. But you have brought us into this desert to starve this whole assembly to death. Alright? Like, they act like they will starve to death without being able to eat the flesh of animals. Like as if potatoes and onions and all that grows from the earth cannot sustain them. As if rice and jackfruit, as if the mushrooms, all the various different types of mushrooms that grow freely upon the earth cannot sustain them. As if banana blossoms, hearts of palm, and all of these different options of that which grows from the earth cannot sustain them. They must have the blood and flesh of animals. As if artichokes and all of these things that grow upon the face of this earth, chickpeas, garbanzo beans, all the different various beings upon the earth, the grains, the corn, all of these things, as if none of these things upon the face face of the earth can sustain our fleshly body. We must kill the animals to eat their dead bodies in order to be healthy people. Really? Stop it. Stop it. You see, you really, we are fruitarians, people. We're really supposed to just be eating the fruits of the earth. But our God gave us all of this other abundance that we can partake of, but that's not enough for many of my brews. They wanna continue eating the flesh and blood of the animals. They refuse to come back to his pure covenant of no bloodshed. The Bible don't really give you the whole story, okay? Because they made it like the people made Aaron do this, when really Aaron was the mastermind. Now, when the people saw that Moses was delayed in coming down from the mountain, they gathered around Aaron and said, "Come, make us gods who will go before us. As for this Moses who brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we do not know what has happened to him." So Aaron told them to take off the gold earrings that are on their wives and sons and daughters to bring to him. All right. So all the people took off their gold earrings and all of these things, and they brought it unto Aaron. All right. So anyway, it was Aaron that was the mastermind. It was Aaron that, and all of this is symbolic, people. You need to understand. You can't read this literally. Okay, all of these things is symbolic. It was not about a golden altar. Okay, it was about Aaron actually getting a bull or a cow or whatever, all right, and burning its body. Okay, they had a barbecue. All right, they literally had a barbecue. They killed an animal and they ate of it, and they were singing and dancing and rejoicing, enjoying the eating of that animal. All right, they had finally got to eat their animal flesh. All right, and while Moses was up on a mountain, it wasn't about a golden calf. It was about the fact that they had killed an animal. They killed a cow and they ate it. Okay? Therefore, as the Holy Spirit says today, if you will hear his voice, do not harden your heart as you did in rebellion. Now, if the Father is telling you, do not harden your heart, how is it that my brews are saying that our God hardens the hearts of people? Our God don't harden people's heart. Our God is saying, listen to his voice. Do not harden your heart. All right, as you did in the rebellion. All right, your heart hardens when you are rebellious to the eternal law of love. All right, when you don't want to walk in love, you end up hardening your heart against the reproof that comes via the Spirit of truth. Okay? In the day of testing in the wilderness. All right, now they were being tested because remember in the other video that I did today, the video before this one, all right, how we went over the scriptures where the Father said, if you're being tested, it's not me. The Father doesn't test us. The Father doesn't put us through trials and tribulations and afflictions and all of these things. All right, these things are the consequences of the free agency that has been given. All right, now that does not, just because the Father gives free agency doesn't mean that he's the one that's doing all of these things. He gives us the freedom of choice. All right, and there's consequences that happen according to these choices. All right, cause and effect. All right, now where your fathers tested and tried me, and for 40 years saw my works. Okay, majority of them died in the wilderness because of their stiff-neckedness and their disobedience and their refusal to come back to his pure covenant. Wow. Wow. See, this is it. It's kind of like causing me to skip ahead because I was really wanting to deal with one thing, but we're gonna get to this. All right, because we are dealing with the separation between the righteous from the wicked. All right, Hebrews 4:1-11. Therefore, while the promise of entering his rest still stands, let us be careful that none of you be deemed to have fallen short of it. All right, this is why we are to love the reproof. Okay, if you hate reproof, how will you know that you have not fallen short of the mark? You must love reproof. I'm not a despiser of reproof. If any of you think you have the tools to come reprove me via the Spirit of truth, come forward. Bring your receipts. Okay? I will know you by the fruit of your spirit. All right? I will know you by the fruit of your spirit. I will know if you have yet to humble yourself like a little child, to have received the reproof via the Spirit of truth. All right? I'm very humble. I accept reproof. Show me where my rotten fruit is. Show me my rotten fruit, people. Show me transgressing the eternal law of divine love. Show me walking in the opposite fruits of the Spirit. For we also received the good news just as they did. But the message they heard was of no value to them. This is why I'm seen as no value. This is why I'm seen as worthless. This is why they think it's okay to just discard me as worthless, as irrelevant. Since they did not share the faith of those who comprehended it. There's only very few that comprehend the eternal truth. And what is the eternal truth? Divine love. And what is divine love? It is self-sacrifice. It is selfless. It is not selfish. Okay? It's the opposite of this world. All right? Now, we who have obeyed enter that rest. As for the others, it is just as God has said. So I swore an oath in righteousness. All right, okay, because this is going to be according to your actions. All right, you're going to reap what you sow is not his anger. All right, if you are sowing evil, you're going to reap evil. That has nothing to do with our God. All right, he's just a righteous judge. He's not going to deliver those who have done evil. He ain't going to deliver you from the consequences of your evil. All right, the true and living God ain't sending evil against you. There's other opposing forces to benevolence out there. Okay? This is what you need to understand. You need to comprehend this. All right? And you want to act like these malevolent forces come from benevolence. No, these malevolent forces was created in opposition to benevolence. Benevolence didn't never create malevolence, but he gave freedom of choice. Okay? Alright, so understand you're going to reap what you sow. Alright, and those who sow evil are not going to enter into his rest. He's not going to deliver you. He's not going to protect you. Alright, and yet his works have been finished since the foundation of the world. Alright, this is what my brethren want to refer to as predestination, predetermination. Alright, yes, our God knows in foreknowledge who's going to choose what path. Who's going to do what he already knows the outcome of everything. All right. And those who are destined to do righteously, he intervenes. He divinely intervenes. All right. Yes, he will, because he knows our destination. All right? He doesn't destroy those who don't believe. All right? Those who don't obey destroy themselves. Oh man. Philippians 3:19. Their end is destruction. Their God is their belly, and their glory is in their shame. Their minds are set on earthly things. Oh my God. Oh my God. Citizenship in heaven. All right? If you want citizenship in heaven, you can't love this world. How the hell can you love this world and want citizenship in a world that's completely opposite to this? Like you're comfortable in a world full of selfishness and greed, but you want citizenship in the kingdom of heaven that's based and built upon divine love and compassion. You don't want to show any kind of divine love and compassion while we're living down here in this imposed reality of selfishness. You don't want to demonstrate none of the righteous attributes of the spirit of truth and righteousness, none of that. But you want citizenship in the kingdom of heaven that's based upon all of these attributes. You keep shitting and pissing and spitting and ignoring the few of us in this false ass reality of selfishness and greed, suffering in great misery. You keep ignoring us. You keep refusing to show any kind of love to us. Therefore, we're continuously suffering. But you want citizenship in the coming kingdom. You want our God to not only deliver us, but you think you're going to be delivered with us. Or you don't even want us to be delivered. No. Let me rephrase that, because you don't even think that we're going to be delivered. You think that we're going to perish. You think we're going to perish in our ignorance. You think we're ignorant because we don't have money. You think we're ignorant because we don't have materialistic things. You think we're ignorant because we don't have selfish ambition to build a successful life for ourselves in Satan's kingdom. Okay? This is the way I've been viewed my entire life. Okay? Like, I'm the one in ignorance. Okay? I'm the one that's going to be destroyed. Okay? Like, even many of my brethren, they looking their nose down upon those of us that ain't got money, talking about, we warning you to store up. We've been warning you to stock and store. All right? This Jacob's trouble is coming. And if you don't stock and store, if you don't do what you can to save yourself, you going to be in trouble. Look here. I ain't got no physical might in my hands to stock and store. I ain't got money. I ain't got materialistic things. But my trust and faith is in the true and living God. Okay? Not in those who established this system. Alright? So, it's a renewing of the mind. It's a change of your heart condition. This is what you people need. Okay? You need me. You keep casting me off as if I'm irrelevant, but you need me. All right. For such people are not serving the true Hamashiach, but their own appetites. By smooth talk and flattery, they deceive the hearts of the naive. Many will follow in their depravity, and because of them the way of truth will be defamed. In their greed, these false teachers will exploit you with deceptive words. The long-standing verdict against them remains in force, and their destruction does not sleep. These are all the false prophets and false teachers among you. They will secretly introduce destructive heresies, even denying the master who brought them, bringing swift destruction on themselves. Alright? Yeah, that's crazy as hell. Alright, and when it says, denying the master who brought them, alright, that's allowing them our records, that's allowing them our records, okay? He allowed them our records. All right, they're denying the master who allowed them to take us into captivity. All right, take all of our records. All right, take over our land. Take over all of our resources. All right, all of these things, the way that they wrote it, he didn't bring them here, but he did allow them. Okay, he allowed them over here. Okay, and they are denying the one who allowed them over here. All right, therefore they are bringing swift destruction upon themselves. Okay, and while they're bringing swift destruction upon themselves, many people are following in their depravity. All right, let's look up this word depravity. All right, this world is depravious, god damn it. All right, it's depravious as hell. Moral corruption, wickedness. Hell, they even have a movie named Depravity. That's insane. All right, perversion, vice. This whole reality is built upon vice. Okay, debauchery, immorality, pervertedness, corruptedness. All right, shamelessness. All right, I don't know why they blurring out some of these. Licentiousness, lewdness, lasciviousness. All right, obscenity, indecency, wickedness. All right, sinfulness. All right, nefariousness, criminality, baseness, iniquity, viciousness, brutality. All right, that's what this whole society is built upon. All right, so clearly we can see that the earth has been given into the hands of the wicked. All right, because this is the society that we're living in. The opposite of this is morality. Okay, moral. All right. The principles concerning the distinction between right and wrong, or good and bad behavior. In this society, good is seen as bad, good is seen as evil, and right is seen as wrong. Okay? Wickedness is seen as righteousness, and righteousness is seen as evil and wicked. All right? Virtue, righteousness, honesty, principle, integrity, fairness, justice, honorable, decency, chastity, purity, standards. Okay? This is not the society that we're living in. We are living in the opposite society. We live in an upside down, backwards ass reality. Okay, so many people are following in the depravity of the worst of the heathen that is bringing swift destruction upon themselves. Okay? And because of them, the way of truth has been defamed. And because the way of truth has been defamed for so long, and the perception that the world has of so-called African Americans has been perverted, is very difficult for those who are seeking to actually find the living witnesses. In their greed, these false teachers will exploit you. You mad at me for the fact that these false teachers, these false prophets, these pulpit pimping pastors exploited you with deceptive words. They took our records and used it for their selfishness and greed. But you've been punishing me, all of humanity, everybody that came across my videos, everyone that has heard how I've been suffering in great misery. You've all treated me as if it was me that have sought to do these things. You've all mistreated me as if I was in pursuit of selfishness and greed. You've all punished me as if I'm a false teacher that's here to exploit people with deceptive words. You punish me as if I did this, or as if I'm doing this. But the long-standing verdict against all who have done this remains in force, and your destruction does not sleep. Okay? You are going to reap what you have been doing unto me. You've been punishing me unjustly. You've been punishing me for being obedient to that which has been inscribed upon my spirit. These men are like irrational animals, creatures of instinct, born to be captured and destroyed. That's many of my people, 2/3, okay? They blaspheme in manners they do not even understand. And like such creatures, they too will be destroyed. The harm they will suffer is the wages of their wickedness. They consider it a pleasure to carouse in broad daylight. Let's find out what this word is. Carouse. Drink plentiful amounts of alcohol and enjoy oneself with others in a noisy and lively way. The pleasures of the world. Okay? You love this world. Okay? You love partying. You love hanging out with your friends, celebrating, having feast days, and all of these things. Romp. All right? Paint the town red. Okay? Party, have a ball, raise hell. Okay? Live it up. Okay? Live it up. Okay? Live it up. Live it up. Spend one's time in an extremely enjoyable way. All right? You want to look your nose down at me because I don't live my physical life this way. All right? Live it up. Okay? Enjoy this life. What is there to enjoy in a life that is imposed selfish ambition for one's own self-preservation? And there's all this misery and suffering. All right, most of humanity is groaning in misery and long suffering. How the hell can I live it up? How the hell can I enjoy and have an enjoyable life, an extremely enjoyable life? How the hell can I do that? Typically by spending a great deal of money or engaging in an exciting social life. That's Satan's kingdom, goddammit. That is Pleasure Island. You want to be mad at me because I don't fit in Pleasure Island? I ain't here to fit in. I'm here to speak the living word by way of the Spirit. I'm here to give you an option. Stick with Pleasure Island if that's what you desire. Keep living it up in Pleasure Island. In broad daylight. All your wickedness. They've literally imposed their wickedness. They are blots and blemishes, reveling in their deception as their feast with you. Their eyes are full of adultery. Their desire for sin is never satisfied. They seduce the unstable. They are accursed children with their hearts trained in greed. Want to be mad at me? That I ain't got a heart trained in greed? That I got a heart trained in clarity and understanding? That I got a heart trained in spiritual things? With lofty but empty words, they appeal to the sensual passions of the flesh and entice those who are just escaping from others who live in error. They promise them freedom while they themselves are slaves to depravity. For a man is a slave to whatever has mastered him. If you are earning your money for a living, then money is your master. Okay? That's what you're depending on for your livelihood. Okay? You're not depending upon the true and living God. Just because you're having to utilize that money to attain the resources that was created by the true and living God. Okay? Because you are dismissing the middleman, which is money. Okay? That is a false God. So as long as you keep ignoring the fact that that's a false God, blinding yourself to the fact that that's a false God, while you keep vainly confessing that you're loving and serving and worshiping the true and living God, that's your problem. Okay? That's your problem. And you gonna reap the consequences of taking his name in vain. Alright? Because you are a slave to whatever you have given your authority unto. You've given your authority over to money. Okay? You can be bought with money. Are you not selling yourself? When you fill out a job application, you're having to sell yourself to one of these corporations. To whatever corporation and or company you are applying, alright? You are having to sell yourself to this company. Why are you selling yourself? For the reward of money. Okay, so that you can sustain your livelihood. Okay, so that's your master. Your master is your money. Alright? And your boss. Your boss is telling you what time you need to be at your job. Okay, how long you have to be there. When you can take a break. When you can go to lunch. Okay, when you can go to the bathroom. Alright? Understand, you have placed yourself in subjection. Alright? Even though the true and living God knows that this system is an imposition. Alright? But you are not forced to be complacent. You choose to be complacent so that you don't suffer. Alright? And that's what's been hidden. Okay? You've chosen not to suffer. You've chosen to be complacent and earn your money for a living. Okay? But where you are in error is that you are imposing that upon the few of us that's here to do something different. And you've been punishing us because we've been here to do something different. But the fact that you've been punishing us to do something different, you need to understand that you've been punishing us for making ourselves a slave to our God. Okay? Yeah, I'm a slave to my God. Alright? And I willingly sacrificed myself to my God. Alright? Not to you people who are hardening your heart condition. No, I just sacrificed my flesh and my wants and my desires. I've sacrificed that to my God. Alright? And so that I could do his mission. Alright? I can do his spiritual will upon the earth. Alright? I cannot earn money. I cannot put my heart in earning money. Okay? I don't care what people want to say. Oh, well, you can earn money without your heart being into it. No, you can't. Because if I spend my time, your heart is in what you spend your time doing, people. It's not about vain lip service. You keep trying to impose vain lip service upon me. Alright? I'm about living that which I speak. Okay? Your heart, whatever you choose to do with your time and your energy and your effort, that's what's in your heart to do. Okay? It's in your heart to do that for whatever reason. Whether it's in your heart to do it for self-preservation, or if it's in your heart to do it because you want to be wealthy. Okay? Not everybody is on the same level. But you keep ignoring the few of us that don't have a heart after it, even for our own self preservation. Okay, you ignore us and you demonize us and you say, no, you're lazy. It's not about laziness, people, because I put in the spiritual work. All right, I'm not sitting around here on my just. I'm not just not doing anything. I'm using my time, energy, and effort, flowing by way of the spirit. Okay, just because you keep wanting to cast this off as, you know, irrelevant and of no value, that does not mean that is of no value. It does not mean that is irrelevant. Okay. You act like I'm just sitting around here twiddling my thumbs, not doing anything, and just expecting people to take care of me. No, I'm taking care of what you need. I'm taking care to do what's on my spirit to explain to you people what is required for real salvation. Okay? How do you get free of this wicked system? How do you get the divine protection of the true and living God? How do you get his peace for real, for real? How do you obtain the fruits of the Spirit? I'm here to give this clarity and understanding. Why do you keep acting like this is of no value? This is what I'm instructed to do, people. And I am sick and tired of people imposing their unrighteous mentality and heart condition upon me, turning everything around upon me. All right, I don't have to be a slave to money. All right, I don't have to be complacent with a wicked ass system. I can choose to put my trust and faith in the God of my spirit, the one that created my spirit. Okay, I have every right to do that with my freedom of choice. All right, so I sacrifice my wants and my desires, my fleshly pleasures. I sacrifice that to my God. All right, therefore I have become a slave to my God. Okay, not to money. All right, so I flow by way of the Spirit. All right, and that's my master. My master is my God. Okay, so when you mistreat me, understand you're stirring up destruction for yourself. Okay, you come against me, you're coming against the one who created me. All right, the one who sows to please his flesh, from the flesh will reap destruction. Are you not sowing to please your flesh when you're earning money for a living? How are you sowing to please your spirit by earning money for a living? How are you sowing to please your spirit by saving your money in savings accounts and or wherever you have it saved upon the earth? How is that pleasing the spirit? It's only pleasing your flesh. Okay? How are you pleasing the spirit? To spend your money on the dead body parts of innocent animals. How are you pleasing the spirit? To cook them up and eat their dead bodies. That's only pleasing your flesh. You are not pleasing your spirit. All of that is tainting your spirit. But the one who sows to please the Spirit, from the Spirit will reap eternal life. This is how I'm living my life. I'm sowing to please the Spirit. How am I doing that? I'm not earning money for a living. I'm sacrificing and sacrificing my own wants and desires, my own carnal pleasures. All right? I go through the physical suffering. All right, people have not been compassionate and or merciful unto me. As a matter of fact, they've been extremely cruel unto me. Okay, so I've been sacrificing. I've been long suffering. All right, this is sowing to please the Spirit. Okay, so from the Spirit I will reap eternal life, even that which is my diet. I'm not sowing to please my carnal flesh. All right, because I'm not eating animals. Don't you think that I enjoyed the taste of seared fat myself back when I was in ignorance eating animals? I enjoyed eating the animals. Okay, I was taught just like everybody else was taught. I grew up eating meat. Okay, I made the choice to turn from it because it was grievous unto the true and living God. Okay, I chose to humble myself and be obedient. So I have sown to please the Spirit. Okay, so from the Spirit I will reap eternal life. Okay, this is why you want to listen to us. Not because of what we vainly say out our mouth, but because we actually live what we speak. And we're proving these things. We're showing you receipts. Okay? 2 Timothy 3:1-5. But understand this, in the last days, terrible times have came already, alright? And even more terrible times is coming, alright? For men will be lovers of themselves. That's selfishness, alright? Lovers of money. Are we not living this? They are boastful. They are the arrogant ones. They are the abusive ones. They are disobedient to their parents. Okay, they are ungrateful. Practically all of humanity is unholy. All right, unloving, unforgiving, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, without love of good. Okay, like, yeah, you hating on me for not being evil. Like, that's absolutely insane. Alright? Absolutely insane that you're hating on me for not being evil. Alright? Treacherous or traitorous. Reckless, conceited, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of the true and living God. You love to please your carnal flesh. Alright, and everything that has to do with the Spirit, you casting off as irrelevant. Having a form of godliness, but denying its power. You only want to take His name in vain. You want to profess out your mouth, but you don't want to demonstrate His attributes. Therefore I have turned away from all of you who have vainly took His name in vain. 'Cause I ain't doing that. Alright? I'm obedient to the one I say I serve. Alright? Do not love the world or anything in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the eternal Father, Mother is not in them. For all that is in this world is the desires of the flesh, the desires of the eyes, and the pride of life. Live it up. YOLO. You only live once. Bullshit. Bullshit. Alright, we get many chances. We get many chances to get it right. And this is the final time. Okay? It's not from the Father. None of that is from the Father. Alright? But from the world. Okay? The world is passing away. This world is passing away. Along with its desires. Its desires of selfishness and greed. Alright? Lasciviousness. Alright? Uncleanliness, alright, uncleanliness, alright, perversity, alright, debauchery, immorality, all of that is going away. But whoever does the will of the true and living God is you that will remain forever. The meek shall inherit the earth. Alright, the wicked is about to be dealt with. All right, for certain men have crept in among you, unnoticed, ungodly ones who were designated long ago for condemnation. All right, that just means that the Father knew in foreknowledge that these were gonna go into condemnation. All right, it doesn't mean that He designed them. It doesn't mean He created them to go into condemnation. No, they had the option. All right, we were given a conscience. We get to choose right from wrong. We get to choose good from evil. Okay, but He knew in foreknowledge that these would choose evil. All right, they turned the grace of our God into a license for immorality, and they deny our only Master. All right, you have to choose Him as your master. All right, you have to choose Him as your master. All right, because he ain't automatically your master. All right, many people have chosen an adversary to be their master. Okay, and they take His name in vain, and they use His death as a scapegoat for a license to sin. This is what they've done. These men, however, slander what they do not understand. Alright? And like irrational animals, they will be destroyed by the things they do instinctively. Okay? Because they're operating in their carnal flesh. Alright? When you live to please the flesh, when you live for the flesh, then you're going to reap death. Okay? Woe to them, for they have traveled the path of Cain. They have rushed headlong into the error of Balaam. Okay? That's the one that was doing sacrifices. Physical bloody sacrifices. Alright? These men are hidden reefs in your love feast, shamelessly feasting with you, but shepherding only themselves. They are clouds without water, carried along by the wind, fruitless trees in autumn, twice dead after being uprooted. He tells you verbatim, do not store up for yourselves treasures on this earth. Man, my computer is lagging like crazy. Oh my God. What the hell is trying to install all of this bull crap? Man, that shit is annoying. That's really freaking annoying. What the hell, bro? Brave is trying to install all of this crap while I'm in the middle of freaking working. Like, all of a sudden, my computer just started doing all of this crap. Like, that's crazy. Oh, bruh. Do not store up for yourselves treasures on the earth, where moth and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. It's telling you don't be saving your money. You earning your money and you're saving it for your own self-preservation. That's a life of selfishness. Okay, he tells you to store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where moth and rust does not destroy, and where thieves do not break in and steal. Okay, how come you're not storing up your treasure in heaven? I am. That's what I'm doing. All of this work that I've been doing by way of the Spirit, all the sacrificing that I've done in the physical fleshly body, all of this is treasures that I stored up in the righteous kingdom. Okay, where moth and rust does not destroy, where thieves cannot break in and steal. Okay, now that's where my treasure is at. My treasure is with the clarity and understanding that I've been given to freely give unto humanity. That's where my heart is at. That's where my mentality is at. Okay, wherever your treasure is, that's where your heart is. Okay, that's where my heart is, people. Why do you keep trying to tear me away from this? to focus upon a superficial lifestyle of earning money for a living to sustain my fleshly body. While all of you are storing up for yourselves all your money on the earth, refusing to be generous, refusing to be kind-hearted, refusing to show mercy, refusing to show empathy. Enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leads to destruction, and many enter into it. But small is the gate, and narrow is the way that leads to life. Only a few find it. It's only a few of us that have this spiritual clarity and understanding by way of His Spirit. I'm not vainly confessing this like your pulpit pimping charlatans. I'm not vainly confessing this like all your leaders who set themselves up in authority. Food for the stomach and stomach for the food. All right. The Most High will allow you all to be destroyed. All right. The body is not intended for sexual immorality. I came out with a video about this, that we were not created to be having sex and all of these things. All right. You keep wanting to multiply yourselves in Satan's kingdom. What is the point of that? You're multiplying yourselves to send them all to the same wicked, corrupted, indoctrination institutions. All right, you're feeding them flesh and blood from the moment that they grow teeth in their mouth. Okay, you're just creating more freaking vessels of dishonor. All right, and you think you're doing something righteous. But for the Lord and the Lord of the body, all right, we're here to elevate in the spirit and truth, not be complacent, living a life of sensual pleasures. All right. Like, oh my God. Oh, goodness sakes, man. There's many of these. Colossians 3:5-6. Put to death, therefore, the components of your earthly nature, all sexual immorality, impurity, lust, evil desires, and greed, which is idolatry. Okay? Because of these things, what they want to call the wrath of God, which is merely just the judgment of God, the time interval that's been allotted for everybody to reap that which we've been sowing. All right. So when that time comes, they want to call it God's wrath when it when you know the wicked is reaping the consequences of their wickedness. All right. When the reaping of wickedness comes upon the sons of disobedience, they want to refer to that as the wrath of God, but that is the wrath of your own disobedience. It's the wrath of your own wickedness. It is the effect. It is the effect of your cause. Okay. Your cause was your disobedience. You chose to go contrary to the eternal law of divine love. So the effect thereof, your cause that you chose with your freedom of choice, you're going to reap the effect. Why do you keep blaming the effect on your maker who gave you a choice? Yeah. Then, this is Matthew 25:41. Then shall he say also unto them on the left hand. Now the left hand is the goats. The left hand is the wicked. The left hand is those who chose to do evil. The left hand is the terrors. All right. The left hand is those who chose to stay in disobedience. The left hand is all those who chose to stand in opposition to the eternal law of divine love. Okay? The left hand is all those who love selfishness. All right? Understand. You're going to be told to depart from him. Okay? You're going to reap curses. All right? You're going to be in what seems to be an everlasting fire. All right? That the devil prepared. All right? The devil and his angels prepared. All right? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Because the true and living God does not prepare destruction. No. Just, he gave you an option. You gonna reap the consequences of your actions. Alright? And there's other opposing sources. Alright? There's another source opposing benevolence. Alright? I'm done with you people blending it. Okay? Ain't no blend. You want to act like there's only one source of benevolence, and in that source of benevolence all of a sudden turns malevolent because of our choices. You wrong about that. Okay? You're wrong about that. Alright? Otherwise there'd be no point for the choice that we were given. Alright? We were given a choice. Alright? Now, I don't like. This is why I put out that video. Are we mere puppets in the hands of some dictator god, or were we given the freedom to choose? Were we given a choice? All right, we were given a choice. Okay. 2 Corinthians 11:15. Therefore, it is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness, whose end shall be according to our works. Okay? We don't seek to be great. All right? I'm not setting myself in authority over nobody. But that does not mean that I cannot be transformed by the renewing of my mind. Okay, that does not mean I cannot receive a heart of flesh and be a minister of righteousness. All right, all of our end is going to be according to our works. Okay, quit trying to take away our free agency to choose who we serve. Okay, most people choose to serve whoever seems to have the power. All right, right now it seems that malevolence has the power. All right, because it's the wicked that have all the money. It's the wicked that's writing the laws and legislations. All right, it's the wicked that have been controlling things. All right, in this false ass reality. All right, so many people choose to be complacent with that. All right, that's their choice. All right, but I don't have to choose to follow you people. I don't have to choose to follow the broad road. I don't have to choose to listen to those who set themselves in authority over me. All right, I can yield my life. I can yield my fleshly body. I can yield all these things to my God. Okay. For most people seek their own will, all right? Not the things that are of the Hamashiach. That don't mean that all of us do it, all right? They say all right? That's only in the beginning before we come into the clarity and understanding, all right? When we were in ignorance, yeah, we were going after our own will. I was going after my own will when I was in ignorance, but we don't stay this way, okay? And see, for a certain period of time, this is Isaiah 56:10. His watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant. They are all dumb dogs. They cannot bark. Sleeping, laying down, loving to slumber. This is who we were before he sent us the Spirit. This was who we were when we were in the valley of dry bones. Okay? When we were in the valley of dry bones, all right, we were in ignorance. We had no clarity and understanding. See, this is why our glory got changed into shame. It wasn't our God that transformed it. It's just that our God did not deliver us from the consequences of our actions. And these heathens, turned our glory into shame. But it's because we had done it ourselves in the first place. Okay? How are we glorious when we're doing wickedness? How are we glorious for real, when we're acting like a heathen? Okay, so we had already put ourselves to shame. All right, therefore, when the worst of the heathen came over here calling us barbarians and all of these things, they were merely treating us according to that which we had chosen. Okay. I know a lot of my brethren hate this. All right? They hate that. All right? They want to blame the other nations, but it's because they refuse to take accountability for their own wickedness. There be many that say, who will show us any good? Lord, lift thou up the light of thy countenance upon us. And I'm going on almost 2 hours again. I'm over an hour and a half. Offer the sacrifices of the righteous and trust in the true and living God of eternal benevolence. All right. Many ask, who can show us the good? Who will show us some good? Lift up the light of your face upon us, O Lord. All right? You ask this, but you keep ignoring us that's, demonstrating it. You have filled my heart with more joy than when grain and new wine abound. I will lie down and sleep in peace, for you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety. Do not be angry with your brethren. We can be angry at the system. Okay? We can be angry at the wickedness. We can be angry at perversion. Alright? But we cannot be angry at people. We can be angry at the evil spirits that's controlling the people. Alright? But we are to have compassion, kindness, and mercy, and pity the people who are in ignorance. Answer me when I call, O God of my righteousness. You have relieved my distress. Show me grace and hear my prayer. How long, O men, will my honor be maligned? Let me find out what this word is. How long will you love vanity and seek after lies? Wow.
Malign.
This is what has been happening to me all of this time. People have been slandering me. People been smearing my name. People been defaming me. People been speaking ill of me. People been running me down. People been misrepresenting me. They've been disparaging me. All right? They've been abusing me. They've been reviling me. They've been bad-mouthing. Okay? They've been kicking me while I'm suffering. All right? This is all the opposite of praise. It's like you people act like I deserve this abuse. You act like I deserve to be treated this way. I'm not seeking praise. But just because I don't seek the praise of the world does not mean that I enjoy being treated this way. So how long will my honor be treated in the opposite manner of which it should be treated? My righteousness should not be scorned. My obedience to the true and living God should not be disparaged, should not be ignored, should not be scorned, should not be hated. Okay? How long will you love vanity and keep seeking after lies? Know that the Lord has set apart the godly for himself. The Lord hears when I call to him. I am angry at the system. All right? I'm not angry at any individual people. Therefore, I am not in sin because I speak this word by way of the Spirit. Okay? You people want to act like I'm angry at you. I'm not angry at you. I'm angry at this system. I'm angry at the cold hearts. Okay? I'm angry at the demonic spirits. I'm angry at the deception. I have every right to be angry at these things. Okay? Angry at the ignorance. But when it comes to the individual people, I pity your ignorance. I pity you because you are in ignorance. You don't know what you're doing. On your bed, search your heart and be still. I'm offering righteous sacrifices, all right? And trusting in my God, all right? So, many ask, who can show us the good? All right? Shine the light of your face upon us, O Lord. You have filled my heart with more joy than when grain and new wine abound. All right? That means that which he's given me by way of the Spirit is worth way more to me than any amount of money and or materialistic things. Therefore, I have a pure conscience. Where's my mouse? Man, what the hell is going on with my computer? I'm tired, people. I'm tired. Alright, I'm just, man, I'm having to deal with all of this crap, okay? I'm doing my best here. My computer's tripping, alright? But I have a pure conscience. And I sacrifice my life, and I do this work for my God, all right? And my God is going to make me to dwell in safety, okay? I'm tired of this, man. I'm so freaking tired. I'm tired of dealing with this computer lagging on me, not allowing me to do what I've been called to do. Alright, without having to deal with all of this crap. I don't know. I don't even know how much longer my computer is even going to last. Alright, because it's just being crazy. Alright, we're almost at 2 hours again. Psalms 50. The mighty one calls, okay? Let me make sure I got everything else that I needed before we can get to here. Alright, because I know that I've been going for a while. Alright, so I'm done with this. Alright. Alright, so yeah, we have went with this. I'm showing you your transgression. Alright, I'm showing my brethren their transgression that is all throughout the scripture. Alright. So I say, walk in the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh. For the flesh craves what is contrary to the Spirit, and the Spirit what is contrary to the flesh. They are opposed to each other. So that, it's hard for you to do what you want. All right, when you're walking according to your flesh, you're not going to do what pleases the Spirit. All right, but when you're walking in the Spirit, you're not going to do what pleases the flesh if it's contrary to the Spirit. All right, but if you are led by the Spirit, you are not led by your flesh. Okay, yes, you are under the eternal law of love, because that doesn't go away. I'm sick and tired, bro. I'm tired. My computer is tripping. Like, what the hell? My mouse don't want to work. I'm like, oh my God, come on. Do not let sin reign in your mortal body, so that you obey its desires. Do not present the parts of your body to sin as instruments of wickedness, but present yourselves to the true and living God as those who have been brought from death to life, and present the parts of your body to Him as instruments of righteousness. Okay? This is why I don't participate in sexual immorality. All right? I keep myself pure so that I can be utilized by Him. Okay? Let us behave decently as in the daytime, not in carouseling and in drunkenness. All right, not in sexual immorality and in debauchery, not in dissension and jealousy. Instead, clothe yourselves with the Hamashiach. All right, and make no provision for the desires of the flesh. All right, here it is again, telling you, don't think about how you're going to sustain your flesh. It's telling you, make no provision for the desires of the flesh. That means we're instructed not to spend our time, energy, and effort for selfish ambition, for our own self-preservation. Okay? We're instructed against this. All right? As for the children of God, that is. All right? It's the other nations that don't know our God that seek to sustain their own fleshly desires. We are the ones that's supposed to be leading them. Okay? We are to be an example. All right? And that's exactly what I'm doing. All right, for you have spent enough time in the past carrying out the same desires as the Gentiles. Okay, living in debauchery, lust, drunkenness, orgies, carouseling, or carousing, and detestable idolatry. All right, how in the hell can you still participate in the same things as these other nations, but you claim that you are of our Father? No, if your actions are lining up to what the Gentiles do, then you are not following after our God, after the true and living God, all right, of the Yahudim, okay? The obedient Yahudim, all right? 2 Peter 2:10. All right, such punishment is specifically reserved for those who indulge the corrupt desires of the flesh and despise authority. Now, when this authority is the authority of the Spirit of truth, not the authority of wicked mortal men who establish themselves in authority. All right? No, this is the authority of the Spirit of truth. All right? Bold and self-willed. They are unafraid to slander glorious beings. Okay? You have been unafraid to slander glorious beings. Now, who are the glorious beings? The glorious beings are the tender-hearted vessels of mercy wrapped in flesh. We don't do these things unto other people. See, if I had money, I would be generous with money. Okay? I wouldn't hoard it to myself in selfishness and greed. I would be doing what I can to help relieve suffering. If I had the possession of all the resources of the earth, no one would go without their bare necessities. No one would go without their wants and or needs. I would see to it that everybody had everything that they could ever want and or need in abundance. That's a glorious being. That's a selfless being. That's a being that's the opposite of self-seeking. Okay? You keep slandering us, and you have been unafraid to slander and mistreat us. Yet not even angels, though greater in strength and power, dare to bring such slanderous charges against them before the Lord. But this is what all you people been doing all of this time. These men are like irrational animals, creatures of instinct, born to be captured and destroyed. They blaspheme in manners they do not understand. And like such creatures, they too will be destroyed. I don't wish for their destruction. I don't wish for anyone's destruction. I wish you humble yourselves like little children and repent and atone for your atrocious transgressions. Okay? James 1:14 through 15. But each one is tempted when by his own evil desires he is lured away and enticed. Then, after desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin. And sin, when it is full grown, gives birth to death. Alright? You are going to reap what you sow. Okay? The nations are about to be cut off, all right? Their towers are about to be desolate, and that's all their stumbling blocks, all of the things that they establish in place to make our lives miserable, those that don't have money, all right? Everything that they have established to make our lives miserable because we don't have money, all right, is about to be destroyed, okay? We are to be laboring to enter into the rest, all right? Not laboring to build a successful life for ourselves in Satan's kingdom, all right? But however, most have fallen under the same example of the disobedient, okay? Oh man, I'm tired. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna go run over that. Okay, so I'm done with this now. Go back over here, make sure. Alright, so we went over all of this. Okay, we've been separating that which is good apart from evil. Alright, that which is righteous apart from wickedness. Okay. Do not be idolaters, as some of them were. As it is written, the people sat down to eat and drink and got up to indulge in revelry. Alright? We should not commit sexual immorality, as some of them did. And in one day, 23,000 of them died. We should not test our Messiah, as some of them did, and were killed by snakes. And do not complain, as some of them did and were killed by the destroying angel. All right, now this complaint is complaining against righteousness. We have the right to complain against wickedness. We have the right to complain against unrighteousness. We have a right to complain against oppression and tyranny. We have a right to complain against injustice. Okay? But when you complain against reproof, all right, and you twist it all around on us and try to make us the problem, claiming that we're the ones that's evil, we're the ones that's bringing contention, we're the ones that's causing strife. Like all that is going to cause you to be destroyed by the destroying angel. Okay? Uh Now, these things happened to them as examples and were written down as warnings for us, on whom the fulfillment of the ages has come. So, the one who thinks he is standing firm should be careful not to fall. No temptation has seized you except what is common to men, and God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, he will also provide an escape so that you can stand up under it. Okay? So, when it got so bad to where, I'm literally in want for bare necessities, the Father does send relief to me. All right? It is in increments, and it is not a lot, but nevertheless it's just enough, all right, to keep me sustained, all right, so that way I don't fall. Okay, he provides me an escape, all right, so that way I can keep standing, all right. Flee from idolatry, people. All right. All glory goes to the true and living God. All right. That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to glorify my God. I'm not here to set myself in authority over nobody. All right. Now I'm gonna go ahead and end this here. I'm gonna take a note of where I'm at. Okay, because I still got to go over all of this. All right, because we got to get into because I'm still dealing with the separation. All right, we kind of dealt with it. All right, but I also need to go into the book of remembrance to show you that, and I think that's coming after I get into all this other stuff, because I got to show you your sin. I must show you in the scripture the sin. All right, and that's what we're going to deal with next video. All right, on that note, people, right now it's 5 p.m. Okay, and I've been going since this morning. All right, so altogether I got 3 videos that's going to be coming to you, and I have no idea how many more videos we're going to do before this project is finished. You know how I am. You know the situation I'm in. I don't have a lot of space on my PC. I'm already dealing with the lag. I'm already dealing with all of these issues. All right. It would be nice if people begin to take heed and be obedient. Okay. On that note, shalom.